You will meet another Meng Yisheng, another Lu Wandong, another anyone in this world. But you will never have me again. When I lived in the south of the Yangtze River until I was 17. My mother was once an opera singer. My father married her despite everything and loved her dearly. Before I turned 12, both my parents passed away one after another. The legal wife harbored hatred, and I fell into her hands, living a bitter, what lone life. Only Xu Yuan was kind to me. He was the son of my father's old friend, who often visited and brought delicate pastries. But I knew his affection was no more than brotherly. He longed to be a hero in this chaotic world, chasing wealth and glory. In the spring when I was 16, Xu Yuan finally convinced his father to send him to study in Shanghai. On the day he came to say goodbye, peach blossoms bloomed brilliantly outside the house. The young man stood in the petals, handsome beyond words. Tears fell silently as I looked at him. He told me not to grieve. I shook my head and smiled, saying I was happy for him and he believed me. The next winter, the family business declined. The mistress gave me a small sum, claiming poverty, and sent me away to fend for myself. I packed quietly, taking only my mother's clothes and jewelry. I decided to go to Shanghai to find Xu Yuan. It was winter, 1927. Snow fell on the day I arrived. I went to his school, only to be told he had quit the previous winter. No one knew where he went. To find him, I stayed and looked for work. One night I passed the Paramount and saw people selling hairpins. The next day, I brought red bean pastries to sell there. My mother taught me to make them before she died. My father once joked that he fell in love with her mostly because of her pastries. I planned to save enough money, find Xu Yuan, and go to him. That would have been my life if I hadn't met Kia. It was spring, but Shanghai nights were still cold. Just after midnight, a shiny black Ford stopped in front of me. The window rolled down. The driver bought all my pastries after learning what I sold. Neon lights flickered. The man in the back was hidden in shadow, only his elegant jaw visible. The car vanished into the night. I stood stunned for a long time. At dawn the next day, men waited outside my door. Miss Lu Wandong? Mr. Qi loves your red bean pastries. He wants you to make them exclusively for him. Before I could speak, they took me to QIS mansion. The butler led me down a long corridor. Through arched windows, I saw a garden with a Venus statue. At 17, I did not know that at the end of this corridor lay all my joy and sorrow. I would remember that dawn forever. A man leaned by the window in white silk, pale and thin. His eyes were not pure black, but glowed like faint glass. He turned and smiled softly. You're here. It was the first thing he said to me, as if we had known each other for years. His features were dignified, with a small tear mole under his eye. When he smiled, the mole glinted bewitching like beautiful. Blue morning light scattered stars. His smile was gentle and lush, like all summer flowers in full bloom. That moment haunted my whole life. Till I stayed at the mansion. Qian paid me generously, but my only job was making red bean pastries. He dealt in arms, coming and going late. Thinking he loved sweets, I added sweet osmanthus and made snow or soup. The next day, the butler returned everything untouched. Mr. Qi only wants the original recipe. He does not like sweets. I was confused. Why red bean pastries then? I did not understand then. When I finally did, it was too late. I turned 18 that summer. On my birthday, I bought many books. I had never attended school. Xu Yuan had taught me secretly. At first I read for him, but later I truly loved the words. I bumped into Qian in the corridor. He called my name. I stumbled and fell, book scattering. Sorry I startled you. He smiled and held out his hand. You like reading? I nodded. His hand was cold and dry. Would you like to go to school? He asked suddenly. 18 is still the age for studying. I froze. He'll have Uncle Juan arrange it. And today is your birthday. I ordered longevity noodles. Don't let them get cold. Roses bloomed fiercely outside. Watching his back, My heart fluttered wildly. In late August, I entered a missionary school and joined the drama club. Qian laughed at my hobby, yet gave me a complete set of Shakespeare. That winter came late. Near Christmas I practiced eagerly, as Qian promised to watch the play. But he never appeared. In the dressing room I cried, makeup smudging, and he appeared in the mirror. He wore a smoke-minus grey coat and white fox fur, his clear eyes shining. "Wan Dong, why are you crying?" He was breathless, having rushed over. We took the tram home. The city glittered outside. Exhausted, he fell asleep on my shoulder. For a moment I thought of Zhiyuan, but the thermal under Qian's eye burned like fire. I held his hand tightly, as if holding the entire starry sky. 3. I began to lose sleep. I lay awake until I heard his car return. Only then could I sleep. Sometimes I watched him secretly under the streetlight. My heart was filled with sweet, drunken affection. In spring 1929, I prepared birthday noodles for Kia. But when I entered the hall, he held a famous movie star in his arms. Guests whispered that he loved actresses. I stood frozen, then quietly put the noodles aside and left. That night I stayed awake until dawn. I put on my mother's white dress and applied rouge. In the cold dark, my reflection looked hauntingly beautiful. That summer, a film studio recruited new actresses. I secretly signed up. I did not know Qian was a shareholder. He raised an eyebrow, smiling sharply. "You want to be a star that badly?" I lifted my chin. "Yes. And if I said I did it for you, would you believe me?" He stared for a long time and laughed. By 1932 I became famous, placing second in the film Queen election. With Qian's support, I rose quickly. I thought I had become the woman you liked. I was wrong. He helped me, but grew distant. His smile was polite, his gaze no different from how he looked at anyone else. Behind those eyes lay endless mountains and rivers beyond my reach. 4. One snowy night, shots rang out. The car was attacked. Qian pulled me away. A bullet flew toward him. Without thinking, I stepped in front. He cried out in pain, "Wan Dong! Wan Dong!" The bullet hit my abdomen, not vital. For days I had a fever. Qian stayed by my bed, his gaze gentle. I later learned that he supported patriotic groups, and the attack came from Japanese agents. One morning I found him in the kitchen making fish soup. "You've been making my soup?" I asked, voice trembling. "I was worried," he said softly. Tears poured down my face. I asked bitterly, "Who is Wu Xian?" His eyes trembled violently. I already knew the answer. I had heard him murmur that name in his sleep. Later, Meng Liansheng arrived, his supposed fiancée from Guangzhou. She smiled sweetly. "You look just like my sister. Your pastries taste exactly like hers." Her sister was Meng Yisheng, Qian's deceased lover, an actress. I was only a replacement. He did not love sweets. He only loved the pastries Yisheng made. He did not love me. He loved the shadow of another woman in me. 5. I distanced myself from him. One day I asked desperately, "Qian, what am I to you?" He fell silent. He left, heartbroken. I moved out. Then Xu Yuan reappeared. He had joined the Japanese and wanted me to help assassinate Qian. "Help us, and they'll marry you," he said. I smiled bitterly. "I may be just a woman, but I will never help the Japanese hurt him." I pretended to agree, planning to protect Qian secretly. 6. Qian grew closer to Meng Liansheng. Rumors said they would marry. On set, we acted a tragic scene. I whispered, "I know you don't love me. I know you lied. But I never regret it. I love you most in this life." I fainted into his arms. Qian held me fiercely. Under the lights, his eyes glistened with tears. In that moment, I believed he truly loved me. Afterward, Meng Liansheng handed me a wedding invitation. My heart burned like fire. 7. The wedding was held in a church. I was nervous, fearing an attack. Sure enough, shots exploded. I pulled Qian run. They're here to kill you. But he smiled calmly. Black minus-clad guards poured in. Yu Yuan and the Japanese were wiped out. It had all been a trap. Qian knew I contacted Zhu Yuan. He pretended to marry Meng Liangshang, using me to lure the enemy into a net. He used my love to win his war. He begged outside my door for 2 days. I first kept you because of Yisheng. But when you took the bullet from me, I realized I truly loved you. I had no choice. They killed so many patriots. Forgive me. Let me be with you. I fell gravely ill. My heart broken. Let me leave, I said. He gripped my hand. Hold me over my dead body. On winter solstice, I cooked his favorite dishes and invited him over. I smiled gently. I forgive you. Let the past pass. He was overjoyed. He drank until he fell asleep. At 3 in the morning, I looked at him for the last time. I still loved him. But I could not stay. His love was too thin, too calculating. I was just a woman who could not save the nation, nor keep her heart. But I could choose what I did not want. I walked into the snow, away from the warm light where he slept. I still love you, but I can't be with you anymore. You will meet another Meng Yishang, another Lu Wandong, another anyone. But you will never have me again. Goodbye, Kia.